Welcome to Rolling Solo, where I follow the journey of Francesca, a tiefling bard, as I learn to play D&D one roll at a time. Last time, the night after the battle at South Pier, Francesca slipped through the fog of Droslev's gate to meet her old ally, Whistle Korrin. But the silver card she carried brought more than questions. It brought prophecy. In her dreams, 3 symbols revealed fragments of her past, her fractured present, and a future she cannot yet escape. Now, as dawn breaks and the city stirs, shadows gather at Whistle's workshop door. An old enemy has returned, and the game of fate has only just begun. The last glow of Whistle's candle dies, leaving only the scent of hot wax and oil. The red-cloaked captain's silhouette lingers in the doorway, framed by fog. His blade hums with a faint crimson light, the only thing illuminating the workshop. "You should have finished the job, Lady Valcere." Whistle's breathing quickens somewhere to your left. You hear the faint clink of tools as his hand searches blindly for a weapon. The captain takes one careful step forward, boots scraping on stone. You can hear 3 heartbeats. His, Whistle's, your own, and the broken tick of your pocket watch. What does Francesca do in that heartbeat of darkness before everything erupts? Attack first, deceive, command Whistle, or use magic? Okay, I didn't want to put myself in this situation, but nevertheless, that's what fate has given me. So, attacking first, I could use my rapier or I could use a spell. Deceiving, I think, is just gone as an option, because when you think back to, that's what I originally tried to do at the end of the last episode, and he knows it's me, so there's no point in that. Commanding Whistle, yes, because I don't want him to kind of get hurt or to cause me to get hurt. So I'm thinking I want to attack first. I'm not sure whether my rapier or my spell. So what I'm going to have to do is look at my spell sheet. Okay, so yeah, looking at my spell sheets, I'm thinking of combining 2 different things. I'm going to go for my good old message spell, which allows me to whisper a message to a creature within range. So I will whisper a quick message to Whistle, telling him basically just to scatter, to disappear, to hide, whatever, get out there. Yeah, I don't want him hurt, but I also don't want him in the way and causing me trouble. So we'll deal with that. That should be a really quick thing. I would then follow that with a quick firebolt. Let's just go all in. It's a ranged spell, so I can do that from where I am. 1d10 fire damage. Okay. What order should I do that in, though? Maybe I should do the firebolt first and then whisper the message. So that while the captain's dealing with my attack, whether he's defending or, on fire, a Whistle can then use that chance to escape. So I think I'm going to reverse what I originally said, and we're going to go with a firebolt followed by a message spell. Let's see if that works. You raise your free hand. Infernal words curl off your tongue like smoke. The rune-etched blade flickers brighter, but you're faster. Ignis anima me! A burst of fire streaks across the workshop, the crack of heat and magic splitting the dark. Attack roll. Firebolt plus 6 to hit. 1d10 to fire damage if it lands. Roll your d20 for the first firebolt attack, and your 1d10 for damage. Okay, then let's make our first rolls of the game. So we'll do the d20 to see if, first of all, if the attack lands. Oh, natural 20. That's the second time in this campaign that's happened, so I'm well chuffed. Okay, so we've got natural 20 there, and then we need to roll my d10 for damage. Now, I'm really not very well versed on my dice yet. It takes me a while to figure out which one is which. So the d10 is that one, isn't it? It's the same as the percentile one. Yes. Okay, let's see what damage we get. Come on. 8. Again, I'm chuffed with that. I'm well pleased. Okay, let's pop that in and see what that means in real money. Critical hit. Natural 20 means double damage dice. So 16 fire damage. A devastating strike. The world erupts. Your firebolt slams directly into the captain's chest, the impact flaring with blinding light. His grey cloak ignites, runes across his blade flaring crimson before sputtering out. The blast throws him backward into the doorway. He hits the stone frame with a dull crack. For a heartbeat, the entire alley beyond is illuminated in molten gold, smoke curling through the doorway as his coat burns. He staggers, coughing, teeth bared, one hand still clutching his sword. The rune-etched steel shrieks with power, trying to rebuild itself, flickering like a dying flame. Francesca's voice follows, low, urgent, cutting through the smoke. Whistle, go. Find Seraphine. Don't come back here. The gnome's answer is a hissed, Don't have to tell me twice, and the sound of a back hatch slamming open. You catch the glint of his goggles vanishing into the alley. The captain, scorched and half collapsed, raises his head. His voice is ragged, but still carries command. You carry her fire, just like they said. He forces himself to one knee, blade trembling as the runes reignite faintly, crimson and gold swirling together in unstable light. You can feel the magic in the air straining. The next move will define what happens when the flames die down. What does Francesca do? Finish him? Interrogate? Or flee? Now, I know probably the nicer thing to do would be to interrogate him and to get answers. I also feel like Francesca is quite vengeful at the moment, and she was really unsettled by the fact that someone knew her secret identity, knew her past, which she has tried to escape and to hide from. That she's part of this noble family who she has distanced herself from. We don't know exactly the reasons behind that at the moment, but we know that there was probably something major behind it. He is hinting that he knows more about that than she does. So interrogating him would be wise, and that she could seek out those answers, but I don't know if she would be thinking rationally right now. Would she not just kind of act in anger and want to just finish him off before he can tell anyone else what he knows? Fleeing wouldn't be a good idea, I don't think. I need to find out more or finish him. What should I do? Do I stay true to Francesca's ideals and that she would interrogate rather than just killing outright? Or do I stay true to where her character is emotionally, which is frustrated and heightened and vengeful? I'm going to stay true to the emotion, I think. We're going to finish him. Strike before he recovers. You move like a blade. No mercy. No second chances. Roll 1d20 for your rapier attack and add 5. If it hits, roll 1d8 plus 3 for damage. Okay, time for some more rolling. So we're on a roll. Get it? With the d20, but I think I've just jinxed that. So let's see. You know what? That's not bad. 14. Okay, so we've got the 14 plus the 5. So let me type that in before I forget. And then we need to roll my d8s. So that is, which one is that? It's not that's the d10. That's the d12. That's the d8. Got it. Okay, so d8 for damage. 4. So not great, but I get the plus 3. So let's pop that in and see where we get. No witnesses. The captain tries to rise, one hand braced on his scorched knee, the other clutching that flickering rune blade. But you're already moving. Your rapier flashes in the smoky half-light, driving straight through the weak point beneath his ribs. The blade bites deep, and his breath leaves him in a choked gasp, more shock than pain. His sword clatters to the floor, its rune flaring once, and then dying with a hollow hiss. He collapses forward onto you, gripping your arm with a blood-slick hand. His eyes, pale gold now, not the icy blue you remember, fix on yours. You think this ends with me? He rasps, voice thin as air. But you bear her mark, Francesca. The fire. A song. She'll come for you herself. His hand slips. One final shudder. And he's still. The hum of the silver card against your chest fades to silence. The alley outside is eerily quiet. You can hear distant bells dawn proper. Whistle is gone. Seraphine will soon know, and the city will wake to a corpse that should have been dead twice already. The sword's runes flicker weakly one last time, then fade, leaving only a faint pattern burned into the wood. A spiral ringed with 13 glyphs. The silence after violence is always the loudest. Smoke curls lazily from the ruined doorframe, the tang of scorched metal and blood hanging thick in the air. Francesca kneels beside the fallen captain, her breath still quick, every sense sharp as glass. She starts her search, hands efficient, practised, but wary. Inside his coat, she finds a small leather satchel stamped with the sigil of the city guard, though the seal has been burned half away. Inside, a list of names, the ink smudged but legible enough for two to stand out: Whistle Korrin and Seraphine Elaine. A black iron ring, its surface carved with twisting lines that almost move when she stares too long. It's heavy, too warm, as if it remembers magic. And beneath his breastplate, pressed against his skin, a folded letter, sealed with wax bearing a Valcere crest, her family's crest. But the colour is wrong, black, not gold. The blade beside him hums faintly, runes whispering along its surface like breath. Its crimson light has dulled to amber, but it pulses faintly, once, twice, in rhythm with her heartbeat. As she reaches toward it, the heat coming off the steel feels familiar. There's a resonance, something deep in her infernal blood that responds. The runes flicker, faint symbols forming just long enough to read. Bearer of the song. The whisper isn't heard with her ears. It curls through her chest like a note sustained too long. The air is thick with that hum, the feeling that the sword wants to be touched, but not by anyone else. What does Francesca do? Touch the blade? Pull back? Or use your bardic magic to sense the nature before risking a touch? I think probably the sensible thing would, to be use the bardic magic to try and figure out what the risk is before just touching things. So let's do that. Instinct over impulse. Francesca knows power often whispers sweetest before it bites. You steady your breath and let your hand hover just above the hilt, not touching, not yet. The faint pulse of the sword vibrates through the air like a tuning string on the edge of harmony. Closing your eyes, you call quietly on the currents that have always been your real gift. The song, the rhythm that binds words to power. A soft hum builds in your throat, motes of light shimmer around your fingers as your bardic senses unfurl. The world tightens into vibration and resonance. Every object sings to you faintly. Wood creaks in a low note, iron hums in bass, and the blade screams. Images suddenly flood your mind. A woman in crimson armour, her face hidden by a veil, voice sharp as a violin string. She stands in front of a forge that burns without flame, whispering words into molten metal. 13 runes flare as each is hammered into the steel. One rune glows brightest, shaped like a spiral, the same symbol now faintly burned into the floorboards. A final echo, a voice that might be hers, or something deeper. One for every note she lost. When the last song ends, she will return. The hum fades. The light around your fingers dies. The blade is powerful, yes, but cursed with memory. It is bound to music and fire, both things you carry in your soul. Touching it won't kill you, but it will mark you, and you can feel that mark itching already at the edges of your magic. The letter with your family crest still lies beside the body, its seal unbroken. The black wax gleams in the faint light, almost waiting. Do you break the seal, pocket it for later, burn it unread? And what do you do about the sword? Okay, yes, both good questions. So I'm thinking I'm going to pocket it for later. I don't want to risk opening it now when I don't know what's around the corner, and I probably need to find my own kind of safe space right now. So we're going to take the letter. And the sword, we're going to pick it up. We're going to take it. Partly because I'm curious, and partly because I don't want to leave it behind and risk someone of a more nefarious nature coming across it. I'd rather I have that unknown power than risk someone else discovering it. So let's see what happens next. Some pragmatic choices, but quite dangerous too. The line between survival and obsession has always been Francesca's stage to walk. You slide the letter carefully into the inner pocket of your corset, close enough to feel its weight, but hidden from sight. The wax seal presses faintly against your ribs, cold now, but you swear it beats once like a pulse before going still. Then you reach for the sword. It's warm before you even touch it, a heartbeat echoing in the air. As your fingers close around the hilt, the runes flare to life, crimson, gold, and a faint deep blue woven through the light like a melody you can almost hear. For a breath, you're certain the blade is singing. Para of the song. The whisper is soft, melodic, a harmony that threads through your bones. It doesn't feel hostile, not yet, but it knows you. It recognises something in your infernal blood, something old and fiery that was never fully human. The air grows hot, the workshop trembling faintly as the sword accepts your grip. The ember glow runs up your wrist, searing a faint spiral mark onto your skin. One of the 13 runes, dim and pulsing faintly beneath the flesh. When the heat fades, the blade's glow diminishes too, falling silent as if sleeping in your hand. You're left in the half-light, holding a weapon that now feels like a heartbeat extension of your own. Footsteps echo faintly from the alley outside. Not guards, lighter, quicker, cautious. Someone is moving towards the workshop. You have seconds to decide what to do before whoever it is steps inside. Do you hide and melt into the shadows, flee slipping out the back, sword concealed, or confront stepping into the doorway, blade ready? What do you do? For me, this one's pretty much a no-brainer. We're going to go for the stealthy option. We're going to hide and see who it is first of all. I would need to do a stealth check, I'm sure, for this, so I need to just check. But I think... Yep, I've got a proficiency bonus for stealth, which means +2 to whatever I roll. So I've got a proficiency of +2, but I've also got a dexterity of +3. So let's sort this out. I need to pop this in. And then it says I need to, exactly like I thought, do a stealth check. So I need to roll a d20 plus my 5 for my stealth and see how well we disappear into the dark. Ooh, 15. Like it. So that's a dirty 20 because it's 15 plus the 5. I don't mind a dirty 20. We've had 2 20s this episode, a natural 20 and a dirty 20. I like to mix it up a little bit. Flawless success. Before the footsteps even reach the door, you're already moving. You blow out what's left of the candle, duck behind the collapsed shelving by the wall, and let the dark swallow you whole. Your body stills, even your breath becomes part of the rhythm of the room. The heat from the rune blade fades under your cloak, leaving only a faint shimmer, like the echo of a note after the music ends. The door creaks open. 2 figures slip inside, not guards, not soldiers. They move quietly, efficiently. You recognise the silhouette of the first. A woman in a hooded leather coat, wearing the insignia of the black glove stitched in reverse, the mark of an internal hunter. Her companion, taller and silent, carries a lantern shaded with red glass. The woman kneels beside the captain's body. He failed. I told them he would. She turns his head with 2 fingers, studying his burnt face. Retrieve the ring, she says. And the sword. If it's still here. The tall one hesitates. The blade's gone. A pause. Then she's already part of it. Her tone doesn't carry anger, only curiosity, and the faint thrill of someone who's been waiting for this. Spread the word. Francesca di Valcere lives, and she's taken her mother's weapon. You feel the words hit like a physical blow. The woman straightens, the red light from the lantern spilling briefly across her face, sharp features, silver hair bound in braids that glitter faintly like threads of metal. They leave, closing the door softly behind them. The silence that follows is absolute. The phrase echoes in your mind, her mother's weapon. The rune blade hums faintly in your grasp, like it's remembering the same name. In the silence of the workshop, the phrase echoes like a curse, her mother's weapon. The words linger in the smoke as the blade hums faintly in her hand, and Francesca can't tell if it's warning her or welcoming her home. As dawn breaks over Droslev's gate, she realises the past she ran from has finally caught her trail, and her secrets may not remain that way for much longer. And I'm afraid that's it for tonight's episode. Stay bold, stay curious, and keep on rolling solo.